Ready? We good? Alan, we good? Go ahead and call the city council meeting to order for tonight. It's November 6th, 2024. We have all 7 council members present. The mayor's in the back talking to people, and we have a couple of staff members milling about. Our first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by our fire chief, Chief Maxfield, who is volunteered by Brock. Let's get that on the record.
Will the audience please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Our next item on the agenda is our public comment period. This is the opportunity for any member of the public who'd like to address the council to go ahead and do so. This is not the public hearing, which is coming up about sign standards for the planned community zone. If you want to speak to that, that'll be in another minute or two. But if you'd like to address the council on any other topic, this would be your time. You have generally 3 minutes. And we'll go ahead and open that up for anybody who's in the room would like to come onto the council. By the way, if you're online, you're allowed to participate as well. You just need to make your intentions known in the Zoom. Just give us your name and we'll give you a 3-minute timer here.
My name is Lorraine Barrelman, and I want to thank you for this time, Councilman and sorry, I'm not nervous. Mayor Burton. To begin with, I just want to I'm a crier and I apologize for that, but I can't control it. We love West Jordan. We want you to know that. We raised our family here. I was raised here. I've seen West Jordan grow from a farming community into one of the largest cities in Utah. My father served on West Jordan City as a city councilman back in the 70s. So I'm aware of the effort that you do and the things that you do to, and I appreciate the time that you put into helping our city be better. While speaking with Councilman Bador, he encouraged me to come tonight and tell you what my problems are, I guess. I believe that we are blessed with a home and property. When we have a responsibility to take care of it and to make it beautiful. My husband's health is such that he can no longer help. And so the burden falls upon me to take care of the property and the home and him. And since I turned 70, it's getting a little harder. I'm a little slower than I used to be. 4 of our 6 children are homeowners and 2 are not. If we were be allowed to subdivide our property and put a twin home on it, they could both be homeowners. And this would take care of half of the property for me that I wouldn't have to care for, and they would be close enough to help out in our declining years. Our property is shaped in a way that putting a twin home would be the best option. While we don't currently have blueprints, I don't know if you want to see these. These are the twin homes that we have.
That's fine. You can actually just hand them to go ahead and hand the whole stack to Paul there and he can pass them out or.
These twin homes are located on the corner of 2700 and
Oh.
a minute from my house.
I'm gonna give you an extra minute because we were a little slow getting you started
Okay,
there
sorry.
because, no worries. Oh,
We understand the
There we
purpose
go.
of the Housing Act, the Balanced Housing Act. We wonder if twin homes should be considered the same as multifamily. If both sides of the twin home and the property are owned by, are owned privately. It would be a great benefit to me as personally, and provide homes to our children if we could, if that could be adjusted so that we could build a twin home on our property. And that's all. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
thank you. All right, is there anybody else in the room that would like to address the council? Whoops. There we go. This can be on almost anything. All right, I'm not seeing any in the room. Is there any online? Mr. Anderson, who would like to address the council?
Council, there are 4 individuals online, none of whom have raised their hand.
All right, wonderful. We'll go ahead and close public comment and come to reports. And we'll start with the city council reports. Anybody who's been up to anything in the last couple of weeks, this is your time, Councilmember Shelton.
Thank you. Earlier today, I went on a ride-along with David Mago in code enforcement to discuss specific trouble spots in the city where citizens may expect that the problem is caused by city neglect when the spot is actually privately owned. The hope is that the city can work with property owners and assist them to repair things such as broken walls at the entrances to neighborhoods. I would encourage my fellow council members to contact Mr. Mago and schedule a time to do a short ride along with him. Or another option could be just maybe open a correspondence with him through email and share what concerns you may have. On Saturday, I was able to attend the Sago Lily Events Center grand opening and ribbon cutting with Councilmember Whitelock. When I went to the groundbreaking ceremony, I really was concerned. I thought maybe the building they were building there was going to be too small, but it's actually very large and spacious. My guess is that this venue will be able to accommodate well over 300 guests. And also, of course, the food there is amazing. A couple of weeks ago, council members Green and Whitelock and myself had the opportunity to meet with 2 residents who are concerned about late night speeding or racing that has been happening near their homes. It seemed like a productive meeting at the time, but looking back on it, I have been feeling more and more that we didn't really do everything we should have to help them, and I feel like more needs to be done to help these people with the issue. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Green.
We did meet with the residents. I thought it was pretty productive, actually. And we'll continue to work with the mayor to deal with the racing on 5600 West, or somewhere near there. Today, we were at Jordan Landing, a couple of us, me, Councilmember Whitelock, and the mayor, and some staff were at Jordan Landing. If you're looking for New York pizza, New York style pizza, it was pretty good. It was fun to be part of Enrico's and their grand opening. But the big comment that I wanted to make was, for those of you that didn't know, yesterday was election day. I know that that might come as a shock to some of you, that yesterday was an election day. What some of you don't know is that this building was a election site. And due to a work thing that I needed to do, I was in the building yesterday about 3:30. And I was amazed at the number of people that were getting provisional ballots and trying to register and casting their ballots and the number of people that were casting them in person. What I want to do is publicly thank our staff. They did an amazing job with all those people, and it was not just one day, it was several days. They did amazing job of courteously and patiently and to direct these people to where they needed to go and to get them through the election process. And so to the staff, thank you. And then last but not least, Clint, that display that you had out before the meeting with the GIS, and if some of you are here and you haven't seen how the GIS works in the city, there's some amazing tools there, and we've got some amazing staff that are helping us making data-driven decisions that are very easy. I was talking to Clint and they said, here were our crime reports in a spreadsheet. And it's pretty hard to figure out where those happen. Drop them on a map and you get to see where they all were. And in fact, it clicked on the map and there's one that I reported at my house. So, so for the residents who think it's not worth reporting those kinds of reporting incidents, it does get tracked. It does get put on maps. We know where the incidents are. And so thank you to the GIS staff for helping us be part of the 21st century. Thank you.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Thank you. I just want to thank our economic development team because we're having lots of ribbon cuttings and our chamber for those ribbon cuttings. It's exciting to see the new businesses coming to West Jordan. The one that was mentioned by Councilmember Shelton, the thing that I think is cool about this event center, and it's very pretty, they've done a really good job. It was my car wash. That they repurposed the building in a very imaginative way. It's now a Polish bakery and a event center where you can either have them cater it or they have a room where you can have your own catering. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I agree today at Enrico's, the food was good. Watching the children and talking to them was even better. GIS, thank you. Thank you for the interns that are choosing our city to help in our GIS department and for the work that you're doing. Certainly those maps make it a lot easier to see things when you can spread it out that way. Thank you.
Councilmember Bloom.
I had the pleasure of going out with the utility staff last week, and let me just say it was phenomenal getting to know the teams that take care of our city and seeing what happens after storms, seeing, in fact, while I was out, a water line had broken. So we were able to go over there and I got to see that process and see their needs and their challenges and see how they manage and handle the sewer lines and the engineering. And it was 4 to 5 hours of, I wouldn't say overwhelming. It was a lot of information and I'm really, really grateful. And I challenge every single city council member to go do the same because it was eye-opening in a very good way. And to see how passionate our staff is and how much they care and how much effort they put into keeping our city running on all aspects was something I'll always remember. And I'm really, really, really grateful to Greg Davenport for inviting me along and having me do that because our city is, they're amazing what they do and what they accomplish for our residents. So I implore everybody to go do that. Reach out to Greg.
Thank you. Councilmember Bador.
Briefly, I want to just kind of, just jump on the coattails of some of the other things that have been talked about with our staff. Just an amazing, amazing job. We got so many updates during the day, during the election, that were just, it was awe-inspiring to see the voters of West Jordan coming out, but also seeing how the staff was there to help out so much and to be a part of that, and also to go along with the Councilmember Whitelock, just yes to our economic development and how it's so great to get these, constant things of a new business, a new business, a new business, and it's great. And I'm looking forward to my schedule lightening up a bit so I can come to more of these. But I want to make sure I really give a thanks to Lorraine, who came here today to talk. Obviously, it's tough. We are a pretty scary bunch up here, but I thank you so much for your time and for inviting myself, the mayor, Scott, to come out there and to hear it from you and to be a part of that. And also the people who brought out council members Green, Whitelock, and Shelton to talk about what was going on with them. Reach out to us and let us hear from you. And you don't have to be like Lorraine and give cinnamon rolls to everyone that comes in the door.
Wait, what? What?
Sure, it helps. No, it was good, but
I'm coming next week.
I did that on purpose, so you'd have to do that. But
Perked right
but
up.
just please reach out to us and talk to us. I know that has been said from the council dais here many times to reach out. We want to hear from you. That's why we are here. So please, you don't have to always talk here. We'll come to you and you can talk. But if you're listening to any of this and you have something, please let us know. And we'd love to make time to come out there. And again, you don't have to feed us, but we do love to listen. Thank you.
To be clear, feeding us is never a bad idea. I just make sure everybody's aware. All right, thank you. We'll go next to the council office report. We'll go to Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, council. I sent you an email yesterday about the pre-launch of the Adopt a Storm Drain program. And as I mentioned in that email, the council had been talking about this program initially in 2019. And the last time it was discussed was in the May 25th, 2022 council meeting during the budget discussion. And there was support of the council to implement the program. There was some things the city needed to get done with as it relates to risk and legal as people kind of help maintain their storm drain near them. So Marie has put that page in a link that went out to the residents today. I just want to talk about, it took a while, but your ideas did come to fruition. And then there'll be a more full-scale launch in spring when it becomes, that's how Marie's explained it to me, but when it's timing, the timing is better. So that is all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor's report, Mayor Burton.
Thank you. Lots of good things happening in our city. I like to hear about them, so thank you for sharing yours. Last Friday was November 1st. That was our first Friday. It was the Intermezzo Chamber Orchestra, and they were spectacular. They're well known. You can get them on Spotify, and they were all professors at different universities here in Utah. Some of them are the same university, some are different universities. Anyway, that was great. There they are right there. And then Adopt a Storm Drain. That was talked about by Alan already, so thank you for that. And that is one of the things our GIS has created for us and done for us. So we're really pleased with that from them. And we're going to bring Clint up in just a minute to talk a bit more about it. And then also on the next picture, because of our GIS people doing such a great job, we're doing our snowplow preparations. And as some of you saw, we had the trackers on the snowplow, so we know which streets have been plowed and which ones are still waiting to get scraped. And what you may not know is we were actually doing that with our street sweepers earlier in the year, and now we're going to do it over there. So we're not brushing off our street sweepers, we're just including the snowplows. You're welcome for that, by the way. And then, so today is GIS Day. That's why they're here today, and we're celebrating that. We're really thrilled. Our GIS crew in this city are award-winning crews. They get awards for things all the time, and they get mentioned in magazines and write-ups on them because they do such a great job. So we got this GIS tracker, we got the adopt a storm drain, we do our street sweepers. And on this, as you look at that, it changes colors according to what has happened and what's happened over there, whether they've been plowed or if they just drove down the street. And we are putting the updates on our website so you can see what's going on there. The red lines are privately owned roads, and we do not plow those. So you see, there's not very many of those, but there are some there. And purple roads are plowed by UDOT. So we don't generally plow those unless UDOT needs some help. And the gray lines are plowed by the city, and then they turn various colors of blue depending on when it was last plowed. That way, if time goes by and it's still snowing, we know we need to go back because too much time is consumed and the snow is back on the streets again. So Clint, why don't you come up, and if there's any questions you have for him and what he does. And he also, you may recall, created other apps that we use that are active to us. As you mentioned one of them about the crime heat map, and we also have one on a heat map for the fire calls, so we know how long it takes the fire department to get to different places and what places have more calls and others. And I'm gonna let Clint talk about a lot of this stuff because he's the man.
Hello, Council and Mayor. I am thankful that you allowed us to come and kind of show off what we do for the city. We are kind of a passionate bunch of nerds, and we love the work. We love to play with the data. One of the councilmen mentioned a minute ago that we had a spreadsheet of the crime for the past 5 years in the city. Well, you look at a spreadsheet and it's just a bunch of pages of columns and fields and a bunch of numbers and letters and addresses, and it's really hard to decipher what that spreadsheet is saying. But if we take that spreadsheet and put it into a map, into the GIS, then suddenly that data is telling us a story. We can see patterns, we can see features, we can see histories, we can see hotspots, we can make decisions based on that data. So much easier than just looking at a spreadsheet. The mayor had talked about the snow plowing app that we're ready to gear up now for the year. We have two different sides of it, I guess. We have a public facing application where the residents can go and see exactly when the streets have been plowed. The streets change color depending on the time length of the plowing. And our internal app is much more involved. That with that app, we can see exactly where the plows are, what direction they're going. We can see if the plow is in the up or down position, if they're dropping salt or not. And we can see which roads have been plowed or not been plowed. In the olden days, our street guys had a huge map on the wall under a piece of plexiglass, and they would take a highlighter and they would draw a line on the road to show which ones have been plowed or which ones are not. Well, you can imagine roads were missed sometimes. A driver is out for whatever reason, he's on a new route, or he doesn't know exactly the district he's plowing. So with the map, we can see very quickly if a road has been missed and go back and do it. Anyway, these are just some of the things that we do with GIS. That's probably about all I wanted to say. This is the 25th year of GIS Day, and I've been doing GIS for that long and maybe a little bit longer. So love my job, love working for the city, and it's fun to do these things. So questions?
Clint, would you like to tell everybody what GIS stands for?
GIS is Geographic Information Systems. So when people ask me what I do for a living, if I don't feel much like talking, I just tell them that I make maps. And then they'll say something like, well, haven't all the maps been made already? And I say, no, they really haven't. There's always new maps being made, but GIS is actually marrying data in with a map, telling a story with your data.
Was it your car in the parking lot with the map maker license plate?
That's mine.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure because I didn't want somebody else claiming that title.
Yeah,
when you
yeah, that's me.
I I love this little map, little app here, and it'll be fun to watch. Have we thought about naming our trucks so it's more fun to say which truck is coming down your street? And
We could, we've had those discussions before. We could do that.
yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I know I'd get more excited if I knew the name of the truck coming. And
Yeah.
'cause anyway, that's just, I think something that might help residents even more want to look at
Okay.
things and have fun.
I can chat with Marie about that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd
Sure.
love to vote on names.
Yeah.
I just want to say my favorite map is still the one where you show how the city's laid out today versus 20 or 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I was a kid in the 70s, we moved into Dixie Valley and there was nothing out there. And so it's fun to kind of look and see how it looked like when I was a kid to now, and it's crazy.
It is
But,
fun.
and I know it wasn't working for a while when COVID and stuff hit, but
Yeah,
I think it's back up now.
It's been rebuilt, yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Clint. Also, if you want to go back to that picture of the adopt a storm drain. Oh, it's not the one I wanted. There's one they showed the storm drain itself, and I just thought that was a great picture. Okay. On this, I also got to go to that ribbon cutting, and there's the picture of it there from that ribbon cutting over in Jordan Landing of Enrico's. And it was fun, enjoying their pizza. By the way, this restaurant does breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a morning open one. Okay. As you know, the city belongs to EDC Utah, and I am on the board of EDC Utah. And this year, EDC Utah has merged with the Salt Lake Chamber. And part of that merge is the Salt Lake Chamber has now put me on their board of directors and their board of governors. So I am still on the Chamber West board, and now I'm also on the Salt Lake Chamber board to represent the city. And we didn't have to buy a membership because being a member of EDC Utah made us a member of that automatically. And something exciting, which you probably know, on the ballot was the ZAP, and that got renewed overwhelmingly, like 77% was yes on that, which is really good. And why is that good for West Jordan? Because that keeps us on track for a rec center coming forward. So that had to happen before that goes forward. So the work we did in the past to prepare for that will continue, and we'll keep working on that to make that happen soon. Also, you may recall that we talked about Redwood Road, adding these streetlights in there between 70th South and 78th South. I want to let you know that work is beginning. You may see them doing the underground work along there as you drive, so that's why the shoulder work is happening. It's going a little bit slow because some fiber company put their lines in not the right spot, so they're moving those, and then that'll come in, and then they'll pour the concrete bases, and the lights will show up. So later this year, they said late fall, but now with the delay, it may be early winter by the time those show up over there. So that's happening, and we're glad that did that. That was with the grant that we got that makes it happen. So UTA had their 5-year plan, and earlier this year, they mentioned that on their 5-year plan is the 5600 West, and that was at the end of their 5-year plan. And so I told them how important that is for West Jordan. They need to move that up. Well, I guess they kind of moved it up. They moved it up a year. So today, as I met with UTA, they said that it's been moved up 1 year. So it's getting a little bit closer. I'm still pushing to get it even sooner. And the reason this is important, there's a couple of reasons. One is because we need that bus service on that. And that'll go from the airport all the way up 56 into South Jordan. But the other reason that's important is because UDOT cannot do the work on widening on, or the overpass of 78th and Mountain View until this express bus route is in. So that's why that's important, because that's holding that up. And so if we can move this up a year or two, that'll move that overpass up a year or two. And the people on that side of the city would enjoy that. Right, Councilmember Bloom? Yes. So that's that. So upcoming things, I got my open office hours coming up this Thursday, tomorrow, from 4 to 6. So if you want to come and talk with the mayor in person, I'd be happy to greet with you. Saturday is our last e-waste and shredding day for the year. So if you got some papers you want shredded, bring it. Or if you got some electronics you want us to recycle for you, bring them out and we'll provide the e-waste for you. That'll be from 10 to noon. That's a 2-hour block. Monday, please remember, Monday is Veterans Day, November 11th. At 10:30, we'll begin our program here at Veterans Memorial Park. And the forecast looks like it's going to be spectacular. So we're prepared to go for that. Hope to see you there. And
Mayor.
regular office hours, the office is closed otherwise, but you and I will be working as we go out to that.
Do we have a alternate plan if in case of inclement weather?
We do.
Okay.
Just moving it into City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go to the city administrator's report now with Corbin.
I have nothing further to add today. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Okay, great. The next item on the agenda then is our one and only public hearing on the agenda today. This is for item 5A. This is ordinance 24-40, amending the West Jordan City Code, sections 13-17-2 and 12-3-2 and 13-5L-7. Oh, this is when it gets good, guys. I'm just kidding. To establish sign standards for the planned community hillside zone. And we'll turn this over to Ray McCandless. Hi, Ray.
Hi. Excuse me. So, back in 2021, Planning Commission, or the planned community hillside zoning district was approved. And that was mainly to guide the terrain development. And when we did that, the ordinance, it was the standards that were developed primarily for the use of the land. And in the code, it basically just referred to, when it came to signs, it basically just referred to Title 12. But when you turn it over to Title 12, there weren't any standards specific to the PCH zoning district. So we are now bringing that set of standards to you for consideration. And this is in the ordinance number 24-40. So what we're looking for is just adoption of that ordinance, just to give you a brief overview, since we did bring this to you a couple of weeks ago and talked about it at the council committee of the whole meeting. There were a couple of changes that were made by the Planning Commission, and that is just the top 13-5L-7. The Planning Commission just wanted sign regulations, chapter 13-17 signs, and then they also wanted to add the words administrative conditional use, the text, and then also zoning administrators, since that is just one of the options that's listed in the chart below. So as you can see, right in the middle of the table, there's right next to the PC zone, there's the PCH zone that's been added to that. It's the text that's in blue. I'm just going to quickly scroll down through these because you've already had a chance to take a look at those. There were a couple at the committee of the whole meeting. The council had asked us to take a look at, or just makes a few changes or a couple of changes to this table. And one of those was making monument signs that are under 4 feet high just as a permitted use. And then also wall signs down at the bottom of the table. I think the draft that we had in front of you showed it as wall signs as administrative conditional use, but that was changed to a permitted use as part of that. So the only other significant addition to that were roof signs that we walked you through at that time a couple of weeks ago, and we did add just those standards that we walked you through at that time. So that's really what's before you. There's no text that's being deleted from that. We're just adding the new text to accommodate those signage in the PCH zone. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to.
Any clarifying questions for Ray, for staff before we get to the public hearing? I am not seeing any questions. You must have done a great job. All right, so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing on this. This will follow the same rules of engagement as our public comment period, where you have up to 3 minutes if you want to address the council on this. Raise your hand if you're online in the Zoom and you wish to speak. Otherwise, we'll just open it up to those in the room. And Ken, give us your name.
Good evening, council members. I'm Gary Langston. I'm with Third Cadence and the development team for the terrain development. We obviously wanted to be in attendance tonight and show our support of this proposed, I guess, ordinance or addition to the city code. Clearly, signage is a big part of development. And for those of you that were a part of the process, this particular portion of the development agreement was something that we elected to address later on. There were enough things to unpack in the MDA, and now we're to that point. So in our coordination with the staff, the idea was to keep it simple and to really just follow as much as possible what was within the city code. And then we also looked at it on a line-by-line basis to see how it would fit in with what our intentions are for the development. So there were a few spots where we even removed optionality for potential businesses or future opportunities within terrain. So all in all, just wanted to share our support, and we look forward to having this in place. It makes our ability to put signs up clearer and easier. So thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else who'd like to address the council on this? Talking about signs, great song from the 60s. Anybody online, Mr. Anderson, who'd like to address the council?
There are 3 individuals online, none of whom have raised their hand.
Wonderful. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing then and return it to the council for discussion or motion. Councilmember Whitelock.
Do you have something to add? I was just going to make the motion. I'll state that I think this is why committees of the whole are so useful, because now it's easy. So I'll move to approve ordinance 2440, amending the West Jordan City Code sections 13-17-2 and 12-3-2 and 13-5L-7.
I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Whitelock, seconded by Councilmember Shelton. So it's on the table. Any discussion to the motion? Councilmember Green.
Just a comment. Thanks for the hard work on this. As I read the ordinance and looked, we've got in this ordinance, we've got a bunch of footnotes. One that sees the city center is in another spot, and this one applies there. Maybe this is something we can do, that we can eliminate code by footnotes and eventually clean that up and put the city center stuff in the table that we're going to approve tonight, and eliminate some footnotes and just clean up some code eventually. And the whole sign code needs some work anyway. And so as we look at the constitutional issues that are there and everything else, maybe that's just something we can look at. So, just for future. Thank you.
All right, any discussion to the motion then? I'm not seeing any, so we'll go ahead and have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Chair Jacob,
Yes.
Councilmember Bador,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lamb,
Yes.
and Councilmember Whitelock.
Yes.
Thank you. I show the motion passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Moving right along on the agenda, business item 6A is next. This is discussion to and possible action on an ordinance 24-49, amendments to West Jordan City Code Title 16, Administrative Code Enforcement Hearing Program, and we'll go to Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Council Chair. Several months ago, the council had discussed making changes to the parking ordinance and adding in civil enforcement provisions to the code. Just a couple months ago, there was a work session on both of these, or this one and the next item on the agenda. There was some proposed code based on those discussions. There were a couple changes I think the council asked to make at that work session. Those have been implemented by Mr. Boyce. And so what is before you today is the culmination of those efforts, some initial effort by Councilmember Green, committee of the whole discussion with a couple amendments. And Mr. Boyce is here if you have any questions about the ordinance as it's drafted.
Excellent. Any questions for staff or discussion? This one is a business item, so there's no public hearing. Councilmember Green.
I was going to, because I didn't see a whole lot of lights starting to flash. It's not Christmas time yet. I was going to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2449, amendments to West Jordan City Code Title 16.
We'll go ahead and consider that motion made. Councilmember Whitelock.
And I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Green, seconded by Councilmember Whitelock. Any discussion to the motion? All right, seeing no discussion to the motion, let's go ahead and have a roll call vote.
Vice Chair Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Bador,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitelock,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Chair Jacob,
Yes.
and Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Thank you. I show the motion passes 7-0.
Excellent. And our last business item on the agenda tonight is 6B. This is ordinance 24-51, amending Title 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Council. This is in partnership with what you just adopted. This is the parking element of it. So what you just adopted is the administrative and civil enforcement provisions. This is the parking provisions. This was started a little bit before March of 2024. By the time we got it scheduled, the work session in September, there were changes made as noted in the staff analysis. It's been to the committee of the whole. That was done, like I said, in September 2024. On both of these items, there is no budget fiscal impact for making these code adjustments. However, how the mayor and administration wants to enforce this, there could be some budget impact, but that's unknown at this time until the mayor and his staff choose how to administer these changes. Also, Mr. Boyce worked on this from the legal department, worked on the code, and I believe it meets what the intent of the council made, culminated at that work session back in September. And he is here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, questions for staff or discussion amongst the council? Councilmember Green.
Just a comment. Thank you for your work. It's actually been a year since we submitted the RCA to get this to this point. I'm glad we're finally there. We wanted to try to do this before last winter to see if there was things we could do for parking enforcement. At least it's here for this winter. What I'm hoping is that from the mayor's side of the building that we see some proposals for a pilot or something so that we can try to increase enforcement and solve some of the complaints with the traffic or with the parking that we have. And unless anybody else has got a comment, I don't see any. I'm going to make the motion to approve ordinance number 24-51, amending Title 7, the Motor Vehicles and Traffic Code.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Green, seconded by Councilmember Bloom. Any discussion to the motion? I'll just say that it's nice that we always have another winter coming so that we can always get it ahead of a winter, if not this winter, maybe next winter. There's always another one. All right, let's go, just like budget season, right? We wanted this before the budget. Well, it is. It's before the next budget. All right, roll call vote. Thank you.
Chair Jacob,
Yes.
Council, excuse me, Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitelock,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Bador,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Lamb.
Yes.
Thank you. I show that motion passes 7-0.
Mayor Burton?
Sort of related to this, we talked about this before, but we're going to create some stickers to put on cars ahead of the snowstorms to remind them that they're not supposed to park on the streets during a snowstorm. And if any of you would like some to help do those, I'll make sure we get those to you. and
You're
you
gonna
can-
deputize the city council to go sticker
Well,
up some
they're
cars?
not tickets. They're just saying, hey, a storm is coming. So when you watch the forecast, you see a storm's coming before the storm gets here. It'd be a good idea to move your car so it's out the street before the plows come. So
Cool.
you will not be deputized.
Councilmember Green.
Have you reached out to any of the established neighborhood watch groups and asked them if they want to do that in their neighbors?
Not yet, but I would like to include them as well, yes.
That would be, I think that would be good.
So their stickers have not been made yet. Their sticky notes is really what it is. It's like yeah, like. a
Can we
Post-it
make sure
note.
all of the stickers say Chair Jacob on it, just so?
I feel drunk with power already, so, Oh, so excited. All right, next item on the agenda is the consent item minutes from the last 3 meetings.
A move to approve consent items.
A motion by Councilmember Green,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Whitelock. Any discussion of the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All right, we'll call that approved. And we've reached the end of our agenda. As such, I will go ahead and call this meeting adjourned without objection.